Alright, fellas, let's get straight into this one. We've got a UFC fight night coming from a sold out Apex Arena. We've got Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. So, this is going to be on May 17th. At 4 p.m. is when the prelims are going to be starting. This is Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be beginning the main card at 7 p.m. So, let's move on to the first fight of the night. We have Ticia Pennington versus Luana Pinheiro. So I have Ticia Pennington. She's a vet of 11 years old. I have her winning this fight, but we'll get into that later. But she's a bit of an old head. She's been in this fighting industry for a while, specifically the UFC for 11 years. She's been since I want to say pretty much the beginning of the WMMA scene in the UFC. So that's pretty good to know. She tests her grappling daily with Raquel Pennington. I don't know if you guys were aware. They're a married couple. So yeah, they test their grappling daily, I'd like to say. They test the BJJ, some wrestling. I'd hope not striking. I hope not striking, at least. But yeah, no, Ticia's, she's fought real competition and beat them. She didn't beat Mackenzie Dern, but she had a pretty close fight, and some people argued it could have went her way. But she did beat Esparza in her most recent fight, which Esparza then got a retirement package for. Fun fact, Jose Aldo did not get a retirement package. Just keep that in mind. Luana Pinheiro, she is coming off of 3 losses in a row. And I was watching some of her fights earlier because I couldn't remember who she was. Every single time she throws a combination, she will drop her hands for a split second right after the combo. Once she blocks something, she'll drop her hands right after it. So Ticia Pennington wants to. She could throw combinations, and that would work perfectly against Luana Pinheiro. If you delay your second attacks, that would work perfectly against her. But I could see Ticia Pennington winning decision, probably 29-28. I'd say she might lose the first round and then just decimate the next two. Honestly, she might just dominate the entire thing and win at 30-27. I would have Pennington as a pretty high favorite for this fight. I don't know the odds. I don't check the odds because they might sway how I pick the fights, so I don't like to check that too much. Alright, moving on. We have Park Hyung-sung versus Carlos Hernandez. So, Park did not fight during 2024. He had a very inactive year last year. I don't know if he was injured. I couldn't find anywhere if he was injured or not. But yeah, no, he just decided not to fight during 2024. I don't believe he even had a fight booked for 2024. So he might be a little inactive because he is a younger guy. I think he's, I want to say 27. So it's weird to not be fighting during that time, you know? He should be trying to be as active as possible while in those younger years. Try to get as much experience while you can. But he has some amazing looking striking. I was watching his fight. I don't fully remember who it was against, but his last fight, he dropped the guy with some beautiful combinations. So he's going body, body, head, 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 body, body. Like, it was just, he was flowing. Almost like he entered a flow state towards the end of it. But one thing you might notice is this fellow Park Hyung-sung is he's of Asian descent. Carlos Hernandez is for the people. He rocks with Asians. So he doesn't typically do well against. The only time he's beat one was by split decision, and that was that was his last fight. He beat the guy by split decision. He was a Mongolian guy, so he doesn't have a good track record against these fellas. So, oh jeez, I'm gonna kick it, so that's bad. But yeah, no. So he has a great scrambling ability. In his fight against Tatsuro Taira, he was doing great on the ground. He was scrambling out of positions Taira was putting him in. Like once he got the takedown, they scrambled immediately and got back up. However, that did lead to Carlos Hernandez getting slept by Tatsuro Taira. I don't know if you guys know Tatsuro Taira. He doesn't have the best striking, but he slept Carlos Hernandez. Park Hyung-sung, he has okay wrestling, I'd say, but his main forte is striking. So I could see him dropping Carlos Hernandez, hurting him pretty fast. pretty badly in the first round. I had Park Young Sung winning by KO or slash TKO in late round one towards the final minute, I would say. Once he starts to get into the fight a bit, he will just start landing on Carlos Hernandez is how I see that happening. So next we're gonna go on to Elise Reed versus Denise Gomez. So this guys, this is groundbreaking for the UFC. We have the first ever UFC mixed gender fight. As you can tell, Elise Reed, um, she's a woman, yeah. Um, Dennis Gomez, yeah, I think there's a typo there. That's a Dennis. I don't know. I guess we're getting a little too woke now. UFC, we gotta. I don't like this. I do not like this. All jokes aside, Denise Gomez does have serious power when she lands, which isn't super rare. She kind of lands often, but her attacks are very telegraphable. She kind of overloads on everything she throws. When you watch her fights, it's all not a lot of combinations. It's just kind of one punch, like trying to take someone's head off. But she dominated Eduardo Mura. Sorry, I just turned her French for a second. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, no, she dominated her. She had over 100 significant strikes against her. I think she had around 20 against Gomez, which was big decimation, saying is that's Eduardo Mora's only loss. So, and the issue being, Elise Reed has been decimated and finished by Sam Hughes, and it was by TKO slash KO. I couldn't find the video. I don't have the Fight Pass thing, so I couldn't check it. But yeah, no, she got finished by Sam Hughes by strikes. Um, Not a great look, especially when you're going against someone as powerful as Denise Gomez, who is probably going to land and I would say has much better striking than Sam Hughes. So I have Denise Gomez winning. She has that manpower. I could see her knocking Elise Reed out before round three. I'll say round two more likely, but I don't. If it gets past round two, I don't see a knockout happening. But I got Denise Gomez winning this fight. Next, we're going on to Luana Santos versus Tainar Lisboa. This is a rough start to the card, boys. Oh my goodness. What is that? 1, 2, 3 out of a start. Out of the first four. Damn. Okay. All right. Luana Santos. She looks up to Israel Adesanya. If you don't know what I mean, look up Luana Santos dog on Google. She has some pictures with her dog. It's a really cute dog. I would recommend everyone looking that up on Google. But yeah, no, Israel Adesanya is her idol. Tainar Lisboa is coming off a 5-fight win streak. I didn't put any notes here. I'm noticing that. That could end up being a situation. But Tainar Lisboa, she looks really good in her fights. I did peep that. Like, she's pretty well-rounded. She's coming off a 5-fight win streak. Luana Santos, I want to say, just lost her last fight. I don't know why I don't have the notes wrote down here. But yes, she just came off her last fight with a loss. Tainar Lisboa has been great, looking great all around. I could just see her kind of not dominating Luana Santos, but winning pretty comfortably. I have her winning, going 30-27 to a decision. Next fight we have Yadier Del Val versus Connor Matthews. Now, Connor Matthews, I'm a big fan of your music. Let me just get that out right now. Older is a banger. If you guys haven't listened to Older by Connor Matthews, hey, go ahead. You guys might have a new banger on your little playlist going on there. But Yadier Del Val, he's an undefeated prospect in quotation marks. We'll really just be calling anyone a prospect these days, huh? Yeah, I was watching some of his highlights, which aren't really a lot. I don't see him having a lot of finishing ability, and he's having wars with guys on the regional scene, which you just don't like to see. You want to have wars with people that are really good, not people on the regional scene. Especially if you're being touted up to be a prospect, you want to be finishing those fights early. A lot of those finishes, and he does get finishes, come in the later rounds. I was seeing too. But this might be a good chance to change that, since Connor Matthews has been finished in his last two fights. One was submission, the other one was TKO. Yeah, TKO. I'm pretty sure he just got punched a shit ton of times. So Yadier Deval, this is your time to shine, buddy. This is your welcome to the UFC moment. You get a bit of a layup here, but I don't know, guys. I don't see Yadier Deval getting a stoppage in this fight. I could see this one also going to decision, but a pretty dominant decision by Yadier Deval. I feel like he's just gonna kind of control exactly where the fight goes. I don't think Connor Matthews has too much to go against him. So I'm going to be picking Yadier Deval decision going 30-27 in all judges' eyes. Next, we go on to Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. Now, first good fight of the night. No, I'm kidding. I think Park Jin Sung might be a really good fight, actually. I'd be watching out for that one. But yeah, no, Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. One thing I noticed about Thiago Moises is he does not win against strikers. And with that being said, I would say Jared Gordon, although he shoots a lot of takedowns, is more of a striker than he is anything else. He is arguably on a 5-fight win streak, by the way. If we if we count the Bobby Green thing, I mean, I counted it as a fight, not a loss, obviously, because he was piecing up Bobby until he got fucking bull rammed by Bobby Green's bald ass head. Then he beat Pimblett in the scorecards. Hey, I'm a fan of Pimblett, but he beat Pimblett. There's no argument there. That was what every fan saw. Nasrat, however, there is more of an argument for that. For Nasrat winning, obviously, because he did. But a lot of people saw Jared winning that. He just kind of has no luck when it comes to judges' decisions. So watch out for that if it does go to decision here. But yeah, no, if you are above the top 30 in lightweight, you've probably beat Thiago Moises or are going to beat Thiago Moises. He's got a really good ground game, but refuses to shoot takedowns sometimes, which confuses me because he's not exactly great at striking. He does have a knockout in one of the past 3 years of one of his fights, but it wasn't exactly against high competition. I don't see him being able to land how he wants against Jared Gordon, just because Jared Gordon is actually a skilled fighter when it comes to striking. So I have Jared Gordon winning. I do have this wrote down as split decision to Jared Gordon. I'm blessing him with this scorecard for whatever reason. Even though he's had no luck, maybe it all adds up today. Not today. Damn, it is today. Sorry, boys. I'm holding on this video until the last second to post it. That's bad. But yeah, no, I have him winning split decision. The judges are actually going to bless him for once, and I think he beats Thiago Moises. I think it might be a controversial one if they do give a round to Moises. Or not a round, sorry. A judge gives the fight to Moises. I think it might end up being a controversial thing. When Jared Gordon's in the picture, it's probably going to be if it goes to judges. Next, we have Gabe Green versus Mateus Camillo. So, Camillo doesn't have a UFC picture yet. Everyone else's photos got updated on Google yesterday. Camillo does not have one. But, fun fact about Camillo, the reason he is in the UFC right now is because he beat the guy that asked at the press conference to Dana if he could come in. I don't know if you guys remember that. I don't fully remember what press conference it was for. But the guy, after all of the questions got asked, he went up on the microphone and asked Dana for a chance. I want to say he was, because he was an undefeated guy who was in Dagestan at some point. So he had that Dagestani wrestling, and he competed at the Korean Zombies promotion, and it was against Camillo, and Camillo won against him. So that's how he's actually ended up in the UFC. But Camillo has a heavy leg kick game plan. Once he breaks down your legs, he kind of just lands at will. Because he has some slick striking too. He has power in his hands. But he utilizes a lot of leg kicks in his fights. As seen in almost every single fight you could get on from him that's posted on YouTube. Lots of leg kicks in there. Gabe Green, his shiny bald head is just threatening to me. Usually you see him with whatever you can call that hairstyle he has. It's kind of atrocious. disgusting to look at. But Bold Gabe, this might be a mythical run, boys. We might be seeing a Gabe Green title run if he can get past Camillo here. However, if he goes anything like he did against Brian Battle, that's gonna be a nightmare. If you guys didn't see against Brian Battle, Gabe Green immediately just kind of charged headfirst at him, started swanging and banging in the pocket, and got clipped within the first 14 seconds by Brian Battle. Brian Battle isn't exactly finishing a lot of people. I know a lot of people are against Brian Battle right now because of his fight with Randy Brown, which is unfortunate because Brian Battle is kind of a goat. I rock with him a lot. But I could see Camillo winning by a late stoppage, probably round 3, I'd say. I'd probably pick knockout. I could see him beating up Gabe Green's legs the whole fight, and towards the end of round 3, he's just literally unable to move, which just leads him as a standing punching bag for Mateus Camillo. And I could just see him dropping him. I would say this probably is going to be a couple of knockdowns this fight. I think this has potential to be fight of the night. This will be a fun one, boys. It definitely will. This one, fun for a different reason. I'm excited to see the ground exchanges here. Both of these guys are pretty great on the ground. Julian Erosa doesn't really have that punching power. He looks really slow recently as well. Even in his last fight against Darren Elkins, where he dominated and just hopefully retired Darren Elkins. He looked really slow against him. And you're gonna have to be quick against Costa, because he's a fast dude. Sorry, I didn't even say who his fight is. Yeah, it's Julian Erosa versus do I try it? Yeah, Melquizael Costa. He's the guy with is it vitiligo? It's a skin condition, which looks like he has found a way to clear up recently, because previously you could see a lot more of it around his body. But yeah, no, he's found a way to clear it up, so good for him. However, his hairstyle pisses me off. What is going on with his hairstyle? Every fight, it's just a different color, but it's horrible. I hate the combinations, unless it has significance behind it, and then I apologize. But, Sean O'Malley, when he does his hair, it works, because it looks professionally done. It blends well. Yellow and red into a mohawk here is a terrible combination. He has a McDonald's fade going on. I'm not rocking with that. But he's a fairly durable guy. He doesn't get dropped a lot in fights. So I'd say he kind of has a chin. Julian Erosa doesn't have crazy power, so I don't think the striking's going to be on Julian Erosa's side. I think, if anything, it might benefit Costa a little more. So that's why I could see Julian Erosa doing a lot more takedowns this fight, and I'm excited to see this underground, boys, because this is a BJJ fight right here. They both fought super recently. Julian Erosa was on UFC 315 against Darren Elkins last month, and Costa was on a card a month and a half ago in March. So they're really active fighters, which I like to see, because Erosa's getting old. He's 37 now, and Costa is a young guy coming up the rankings on a good run at the moment. So after this fight, I want to see him try pick a fight just outside of the top 15, see how that goes, and then let's see how we go after that. Also, Julian Erosa, most inconsistent man of all time, bro. He gets slapped by Artem Lobov, Connor's bitch. But then he smokes Jourdain and Woodson with a submission. I'm pretty sure they were both Darce chokes, actually, as well. But I don't know, man. I don't know how this sport works anymore, do I? But I have Costa winning through submission in round 2. I could just see him getting a hold of something in one of the scrambles. But until then, I'm really excited to watch a ground game, man. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Next up, we have Dustin Stoltzfus versus Nursultan Ruziboyev. Fellas, I have this being the fight of the night. I won't lie to you. Ruziboyev hasn't used a lot of his wrestling. He's typically a brawler when he does fight. Joaquin Buckley actually was the one shooting takedowns against him, which I find pretty interesting, because Ruziboyev, with a name like that, you would expect him to be, from that region. The Makachev region, the Nurmagomedov region. So you would expect him to be a wrestle-heavy fighter, but he's actually a striker. usually, or a brawler, a marauder. Dustin Stoltzfus. Don't let him be a police officer. I could see him pulling someone over, and he covers his body cam up, and then you just hear shots right after. He's like, oh, he's reaching, he's reaching. I don't trust this man with a gun. It's the way he's looking at me, dude. I don't like it. I do not like it whatsoever. But in his last fight, he slept Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, the war against Marc-Andre Barriault has has continued here. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he was my first pick wrong when he brutally slept. So what is his name? Bruno Silva? Yeah, Bruno Silva. He slept him. I didn't expect that to happen, but he got slept by Dustin Stoltzfus, and I thought Bruno was a better fighter than Dustin, but I guess not. But that's a great looking win now, after he's just done that. However, Dustin, he likes to throw himself into the fire a lot. He likes to scrap. He's a scrapper as well. So boys, that's why I have this being the fight of the night. I can see this ending up being a scrap. Dustin, when he does get hit bad, it takes him a long time to recover. And while he's recovering, he's just kind of running away, like straight backwards. He's not really angling himself. It's just straight back, trying to get away from the action as fast as possible. Rizaboyev, I was watching some of his fights. He has an amazing ability to close distance and kind of cut off any escape routes you would have. So I could see Rizaboyev landing some crazy overhand. Dustin gets wobbled, gets hurt. He's scrambling around. He's tripping over himself as he's running back to the cage. And Rizaboyev just closes that distance, pins him up against the cage, and just starts hammering away at him. I could see him winning in round 2 by KO, TKO. Maybe the ref comes in and stops it, because I haven't seen Dustin get colded out like that yet. Maybe today's the day. But, yeah, no, I see him getting finished against the fence in round 2 by KO or TKO. I have Rizaboyev winning this fight. Next we have a lightweight fight. Both of these fellows with featherweight division before this. This is, I want to say, both their first ever fight in lightweight. Don't quote me on that. You know what I'm saying? But we have Sadiq Yusuff versus Myron Santos. Sadiq Yusuff is repping the DMV. He fights out of Maryland. You know, I'm part of it. Virginia gang, what's up? Sadiq Yusuff, he does get hit a lot during his fights, which is worrying, especially against some person like Myron Santos, who has a decent amount of power in his hands. I don't know if you guys saw the Dana White Contender Series fight with Myron Santos, but he landed a right hand and dropped the guy to his knees, and he just starts praying to what God he had. And I mean, Myron Santos landed a couple more follow-up shots, but yeah, no, just dropped him to his knees praying. So Myron clearly has power, but I really like this lightweight fight because I think Sadiq's chin is going to be a lot healthier. It's not going to be cracked as much, because he's been going against some heavy hitters in the featherweight division. He had Diego Lopez, which was just brutalizing his chin. Edson Barbosa landed a kick and put Sadiq on the chicken legs for a second. So, yeah, no, I'm interested in this fight. I really am. I want to see how his chin hands up with this against Myron. And Myron lost to Dan the Almighty, Dan Argueta, by TKO. That's his only ever loss. Now, Sadiq Yusuff beat Edson Barbosa, and Edson Barbosa need Dan Argueta in the face and finish the fight that way. That's some MMA math for you. Most of the time it doesn't make sense. But I'm going to use that in this equation here, and I'm going to say Sadiq Yusuff wins. I could see him winning by decision, honestly. Decision or late round TKO, maybe round 3. I think it's going to be a bit of a scrap, which I'll be excited to see. I do want to see Myron get taken down. I want to see how he is on the ground, because exciting fight. This could be a prospect here. If he just does his way with Sadiq Yusuff, we have a prospect on our hands at lightweight, which you can never have too many of, you know? That's always fun. But how did he... Yeah, no, he got dropped and TKO'd by Dan Argueta. It wasn't in the UFC. It was in a regional scene fight, but That's just interesting to me that that happened. Moving on to the co-main event of the night, we have Rodolfo Bellato versus Paul Craig, the Bear G. This is Paul Craig's last fight on his contract. His last three fights, he's been on a losing streak. It's gonna be a clear make it or break it fight. If he loses, he's probably out of the UFC. Let's be honest. If he wins this fight, he's probably out of the UFC. No, he might retire honestly, but I'm gonna stop with the retirement predictions. I got one of them right yesterday, at least. No, not yesterday. Last week I got one of them right, so I can't be too upset about that. But the Bear Jew has something to prove. Does anyone know where that nickname came from? I would love to know, but I just have no idea where it did come from. Rodolfo Bellato, he gasses really fast after round one. He's really sloppy. It's weird. It really is. In the Jimmy Crute fight after round one, he looked exhausted. Also, kind of insane that they gave him a draw against Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute was handling him pretty easily that whole fight, so I don't know why they gave that a draw. But he did start shooting some lazy takedowns after round one against Ihor Peteria. And Ihor Peteria is not exactly a great fighter, so obviously nothing really got done with these lazy ass takedowns. But if you throw something against Paul Craig, he's gonna snatch up your neck and he's gonna rip it off of you, bro. You cannot be doing those lazy takedowns like you were doing against him. Paul Craig, as everyone knows, his only way to win fights is crazy submissions. He's got a crazy submission game. But you have to have a name to beat Paul Craig. You're not beating Paul Craig if you're some no name. You know, you have to be like in the top 10. As he beat Krylov, but Volkan Ozdemir, he lost to Johnny Walker. Like, you have to be relatively good to be able to beat him. I don't see the hype behind Bellato. When I watch Bellato, I don't understand how he's really got this Paul Craig fight. But then again, Bo Nickel got the fight, and we saw what happened with him. I see Craig winning by submission, which is a risky pick because sometimes Paul Craig is very inconsistent. But I think against Rodolfo Bellato, Paul Craig's is just gonna show levels to this, because Bellato doesn't even have that interesting of a striking either. So I think Paul Craig's going to get him down and be able to submit him pretty easily. I don't think it's going to be too hard of a fight for Paul Craig. And after this fight, boys, we go on to the main event of the evening. Gilbert Burns versus Miles Morales. We have Spider-Man in the building. We have Michael Morales here. Let's just get straight to the point here, what you guys all want to know. Once he got to the creative section, when you get to create a fighter, he kind of just spammed every single tattoo option there. I was looking at his tattoos earlier. Do any of these fucking tattoos make sense to each other? He has some weird Spartan soldier on the right side, and then he has some, I mean, don't get me wrong, I rock with it, but the tribal stuff, it's very, very randomly placed around him. I like the tribal tattoos, I won't lie. But that's the part everyone wanted to know. Alright, now I can end the video. Alright, have a good one, fellas. Alright, I guess I'll go over my picks because you guys apparently want to hear that. So, Gilbert Burns has fought the who's who of the welterweight division. If you're a name in the welterweight division, you've had a brawl with Gilbert Burns, unless your name is Ian Gary or Shavkat. Oh, dude, Gilbert Burns fought Kamzat, bro. Like, everyone that has a name has fought Gilbert Burns. And I'm going to be straight up here, boys. I think Gilbert Burns wins this fight. Michael Morales, he builds into the fight a bit more. Obviously, this is going to be his first 5th-round fight, or 5-round fight. But usually his 3-round fights, he has decent stamina in his previous 3-round fights towards the ends of the 3rd round. He has no issue with stamina from what I've seen, at least in the past couple. So he's a slow starter. He builds into the fights, which is good for him, because Gilbert Burns isn't one of those fighters that are going to come out and immediately try to kill you early in a fight. Burns also kind of just, he doesn't go for finishes, is how I'm going to say that. So yeah, no, that's gonna help Michael Morales a lot here. So I could see Michael Morales maybe. I don't want to say taking round one because I still think Burns is gonna take round one, but I could see Michael Morales maybe taking like the later rounds. Maybe he takes like two at the end, but I have Gilbert Burns winning this 49-46. Trevin Giles, not exactly known for being a great hold you down, smudge him wrestler. Was having his way with Michael Morales against the fence. He couldn't really get him off until he just threw some crazy ass like what was it, spinning elbow against him, or am I just making shit up? No, that was against Neil Magny, who was also having success just holding him against the fence, by the way, boys. Keep that in mind. People have a success when they smudge him against the fence or on the ground. Gilbert Burns, the master smudger he is, will probably do the same thing, and I don't see Michael Morales having the scrambles to get up like JDM did, all the urgency. So I could see him being complacent with Gilbert Burns just holding him on the ground, leading to this being a boring ass fight, I think. Once it gets to the ground, we're not going to see much. Um, Maybe Michael Morales drops Burns once or twice in the later rounds, makes it hopefully entertaining, but nah, fellas, I have Gilbert Burns winning this fight. Um, it's looking, the UFC is looking a bit dire for the next month up until the Sean O'Malley fight, and even then, that card doesn't seem too crazy. So I'm gonna try figure out some videos to push out during that. I know we only have one more fight night before that, and it's a Macy Barber versus Blanchfield fight, which no one asked for. No one really is going out of their way to see that fight. So I'm gonna try pop out some interesting videos for you guys. Gonna have some fun ones. See how that goes. But yeah, so I have Burns winning by decision, 49-46. We're gonna see if these picks are right. If you guys are still here, I would really appreciate it if you guys would subscribe, like, maybe share it with your friends if you have some MMA friends. Um, yeah, no, try enjoy your fights if you go out to watch them. You know, get some brewskis with the boys. That's probably what I'm gonna be trying to do. I know my friends watch these fights. I don't see this being a super entertaining card, but if it is, that's all the better for us. But I am hoping to go 9 for 13 on my picks. That's my goal for this week. So yeah, no, have a great weekend, boys, and stay safe. I will see you guys in the next video. I will probably be doing a recap video later on in the week after this card. I'll try to do it like 2 days after, see how my picks went, if I got many of them right. But I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, boys. Bye.